Hello and welcome to Ula Tea Leaf Readings. My name is Lenor, and tonight, or today I guess, it is the daytime. Today I will be reading your tea leaves. This is a horoscope for Scorpio. If Scorpio is your solar, lunar, ascendant/rising sign, then this is a message for you. Okay, let's get started. Okay, let's see, what do these tea leaves have to say today? And I will say that because it's the daytime, there's a lot of ambient sound outside and kind of out of our control here. So if you are hearing some different sounds than usual, that's what it is. Okay. So our card for today is the Wheel of Fortune. Change, accepting your fate, making decisions, unexpected changes, all these kinds of energies. And it's upside down. I have the card upside down while I'm looking at it. We don't do, I don't do reverse cards. So let's see. I want to start with this face right here. We've been having a lot of faces in the tea leaves lately. I feel like this is just my superstitious belief here that because we're going into autumn fall in the northern hemisphere, where I am reading from, so this kind of affects all of you in the southern hemisphere as well. We're going into that time of year where the veil between life and that other place gets thin, right? A lot of visitations, a lot of dream interactions, things, kind of energy showing up in your home, in the places that you go, maybe feeling some of those more spooky vibes sometimes, but ultimately, I think there's a lot of communication with those who we have loved and who have loved us. I don't necessarily think that these are going to be negative. I feel like rarely do we have interactions with the more negative spirits, I guess, the malicious, I would say. And so, it can be frightening for sure. It can be off-putting for sure. But, usually these are people who go out of their way to come back or let you know that they are traveling with you, okay? And so I look at this face. It doesn't look super happy, does it? It kind of looks almost like a ghoul here. But I don't think that that's necessarily what this is. I think that this is a weary being, okay? And I feel like more so than them being the ones that are worn out, because, I don't know. Hopefully we're not tired in death as well, because that's going to be, I'm already too tired right now. I can't continue on like this forever. But I think that it's often a mirroring of how we're feeling, okay? How we perceive these remnants of intelligences, these interactions that we have, these things that we see. I think that this is a mirroring, and basically them confirming and letting you know that they see you, that they feel you, and that they are there with you. You know, it feels like you're, at least in this cycle, feeling a little bit run down, okay? And I think that this isn't a surprising, you know, I don't think this is surprising to you, this information. I think obviously, you know, you've been doing a lot. You've been busy, Scorpio. And I know that you've been working on a lot of interior things. You've been really trying to, I think, you know, find a way to balance your life out a little bit. Working on old hurts a lot in the last few months. So I really think that there's just a sense of being run down, but also there is that motivation and hopefulness about the choices you have been making to get your life going in a forward kind of movement, okay? I feel like we are really in a place where, and I'm looking at this one, it reminds me of, and this is going to be a little on the nose, but a composer kind of composing with their hands up, right? Or maybe a magician kind of creating their own little world there. And this is 1, 2 in a row, doubled the energy, right? And I feel like this is really a place where you are composing your life. I feel like in the past you have, and Pudgy says hello. Hi, Pudgy. Come on down. Buddy, you got to get out of the way, my love. Come on. Yeah, there you go. Right on the lap. The old boy. Okay, so I feel like in the past you have kind of lived in a way so that you could be there for others. You have sometimes put your wants and desires aside. Okay. You have maybe compromised quite a bit, almost to a fault, I think, at times, which has left you restless. And I think that this is part of why, you know, you've lived very different lives throughout your life. There are like very distinct chapters. Not a bad thing. I think it's, you know, I talked about this maybe in the Scorpio reading. I can't remember the cycle previous to this one, about how much I admire people who move around a little bit, check out different ways of living, you know, have distinctly different lifestyles as they, you know, grow. And, you know, I think that there's something very worldly about that. I think that often we become quite cultivated through these differences in living, but it's also very tiring, right? It's a lot of work to pick up and move. It's a lot of work to acclimate, assimilate to you know, new areas, new regions, new systems of things, new jobs, whatever it is. But you know, I think that at this point in your life, you've come to a place where you're powerful, you're confident, okay? You have compromised a lot, and of course you will still compromise within reason. But I also see that you are coming into your place where you are creating the world that you want. There's no more kind of halfway doing things. You want to be aligned with your own true will, and you're going to make that happen. Okay? You know, and I think that the thing that gets to you sometimes is that you worry, you know, that this will fail. Well, here's the thing. You've failed before. You know what it's like to fail. And you're going to be okay. If you do, you're going to figure it out. I don't see failure here, though. I see this tree. I see another tree with a heart on top of it. I feel like we have a couple of angels I've seen through here. Here's one. It's pretty distinct. And actually, these look like similar, where it's the heart with the tree with the heart, but it also looks like an angel to the side with the wing. And this one, same thing, looks like so double meaning for me here. I feel like this is very much a place of growing love, gratitude, just really a solid understanding of self, because you're really listening to yourself like maybe you never have before, at least on this level, right? I think that your intuition is off the charts, okay? And a lot of that has to do with the fact that you are, making intentional movements. You're trusting yourself. You're trusting the universe. We have here an ox, okay? And this is, of course, a sign of endurance, health, great stability, and, not unlike the tree. I feel like this is going to be probably where you end up, wherever you're at, wherever you're kind of, if you've moved, if you're going to a new job, if this is, you finally kind of found your person, maybe you have decided to be by yourself, whatever it is. This is a pretty big decision in these last 6 months to a year. And I feel like you are really, really locked into this now. I feel the sense of roots being laid, okay? And it really, it seems like it feels nice. Just a happiness coming from so far in, it just really, it feels like we are, we're just deciding for things to work, and they are. I think that there's a shift in perception. You are not, I think Scorpio is not unlike Virgo in this way that we are very emotional beings. We can have very clear, logical understandings of things, but when those emotions start to sneak in, it's hard not to be taken by the current, right? Or, these waves washing over us, and it distorts our perceptions, especially if we succumb to what I like to call, and this is not my phrase, but this is from Recovery Talk, 12-step, which is the stinking thinking, and get into those places of melancholy, pessimism, on the extreme, antisocial, nihilistic, destructive places, right? But when we get into these modes of power, activation, really trusting our instincts below all of our wants, our needs, there's that real true will and instinct there. And when we can start to access that, there is an ease to life that is more lasting than anything else. Have you ever worked very hard for something that you think that you want, that you think that you need? This is going to be it. This is going to be the thing that, gets my life right on track. You know, you bought the right car, bought the right house, you know, got your kid into the right school, or you found the right person. And once you get there and you're doing the thing, it feels completely wrong, empty. You know, it's because we were choosing from external ideas, people giving us ideas, the you know, the collective, whatever is popular, whatever we think we should do, whatever's been conditioned into us. Well, you know, that's all fine and well, but it's, you know, it robs you of your soul in a lot of ways. You know, we all know this feeling, just kind of dredging through whatever it is we're doing, and it feels like we're soul dead. But the thing is, you know, when we start to go deeper, start to truly tune into ourselves, listen to what our own being is telling us, and you know the difference. You might think this lady, you know, she doesn't know what she's talking, but you know the difference. You do. Okay? There are plenty of times I have heard myself saying, this is the way, go this way, this is the choice, make this choice. And I didn't want to listen. You know, in my, the way that I've constructed my thinking, perception, my worldview did not align with my true will. And I thought, this is silly. I'm not that type of person. Well, I'll give you an example. Just having a family, you know, and that's a big one, right? I thought I would be alone. I would, you know, study the occult, listen to music, do my own thing, have very few attachments. And it was hard for me because I felt in my core that I had met the right person, and then, you know, we got pregnant, and I thought I didn't want to be a parent. I shouldn't be a parent. I didn't think that this would ever happen, but I knew in my core this was the right thing for me. It was hard to understand that because that is not the perception I had created for myself. Well, I chose against that, the perception, and it worked out for me because I knew in my heart of hearts, my true will, that I was on a path that was right, even if it didn't feel like it in the moment. And it was harder. It was harder. And that's why I didn't want to do it, because it was hard. And I knew it was going to be hard. And it's still hard. Every day is hard in its own way. But it feels right. So you know. And let me just say, disclaimer, all of our paths are different. So my path is not the same as yours. I am not saying that you should choose the same things as me. Not ever would I tell anybody what their true will or path is. It could be completely different. Something I don't understand, or anybody but you understand it. And that's what matters. Okay. And so this is what the will is about for me, is that the universe will continue to put things in our life, change things, move the variables around until we get onto that path that it's not fated. We have to decide, okay? But you will know when you are in line with that thing, okay? You know. It feels, I don't know how to explain it. It feels right, I guess, is the thing, that even if you don't want it to feel right, okay? But I do think, you know, you're tired right now. And I think a lot of that has to do with you've been changing so much, but you're getting into that place. You're getting into that place. And you might be tired for the rest of your life. I can't say that you won't be. I've seen this thing where people say, oh, when you are on your path of destiny, you're on your path of fate, everything will feel right and easy, and you'll be in your bliss, you'll be in your joy, whatever. I have not had that experience, but I do know that doing the hard thing, making, for me, getting up, cleaning the house, cooking meals, paying my bills on time, whatever it is, those things, I felt like this was not right for me. This wasn't going to be my life. But you know what? I like doing the hard work now. It makes me feel confident about myself, about my life. And I've had deeper and more important spiritual moments through this process because it's balanced out by the mundane. All of the time that I spend doing stuff that sucks, I don't like scrubbing the toilet, but I do it. It's balanced out by my heart opening to the universe. And maybe that doesn't make sense when I say it, but it does to me. And I think it will to you. Okay, so I'm going to look at this right here, staring at it. This looks like a writing quill, which if you don't know what that is, it was when they used feathers and ink, right? Ink in their or a piece of wood that's kind of split at the end. So I feel that it is very important for you to document your journey, okay? Using a diary, some kind of journal. Doesn't have to be edited, doesn't have to make sense to anybody else, even if it's just scribbles, sigils, automatic writing, drawing, whatever it is for you. But there is something very powerful about writing down. You could also do it on your phone or whatever, digitally. I'm an analog girl, so I like to write things down. But there's something very powerful about keeping track of the patterns in our lives, the signs, symbols, omens, whatever, synchronicities. They might not seem very important as they're happening, but when you look back on them over a period of time, there might be something there that you didn't notice. This happens to me often when I look back. Often what happens to me too is that I have some big aha moment. I look back at my journals and I think, I was writing about this 5 years ago and I did not even notice it. The knowledge, the information did not hit the same way, right? I wasn't ready to process it in a way that meant something deeper to me. But it just is reiterated that this is a thing that has been kind of echoing through my life for a time now. Okay, and that this reminds me that there is growth here. So, worth a try, definitely. Okay, let's take a look at these Lightness of Being affirmation cards. This is the earth element. And I'm just going to kind of stop where it feels right. We have this cute little fairy here. Kind of, well, not unlike the sign of the composer, composing your life, or the magician, or I guess the fairy, kind of creating some magic there. Omniscience. Peace. Allow your instinctual nature to guide you with heart as your compass. Yeah. I mean, this is it. Going by your instincts, that true will, that thing beneath all of the conditioning. Okay. And yeah, the thing is, some of our impulses get mixed up with our instincts and our true will. Definitely. Our desires, our yearnings. Your heart, you have to be in touch with your heart. You know, and there are virtues that must be involved as well, because sometimes our instincts are, although they're there, we have to find a way to perform them so that we do not harm others. We do not impose our will upon the will of other people. Okay. And I think this is important because this, is part of that dharmic work, ultimately. When we try to control the paths of others, if we try to influence them in a way that does not allow them to make their own decisions, that is poison within our own, it's like putting poison into your own well. So, I'm a big believer in mind your business, stay in your own lane, right? If somebody comes looking for advice, we're here to help one another. But in no way should our will, be detrimental to anybody or anything else. So that's my little 2 cents about it. All right. I want to thank you so much for spending this time with me today, Scorpio. It is always my pleasure and honor to be able to bring these messages to you. If you'd be so kind as to like the video, it helps us get into the algorithm. And as we all know, the algorithm rules the world. So, I've been watching What We Do in the Shadows. Affects my silly voices. But yes, so any kind of engagement here really helps. So liking the video, watching the readings from the beginning to the end, sharing the readings on other social media platforms. Other than that, if you haven't subscribed, please think about doing so. You can hit that little bell. It'll let you know when the next videos are coming out. Also, there are playlists for each sign, so you can go back and watch your other readings for whatever placement you are interested in. And if you want to leave a comment, I read all of them. I reply back to all of them. Sometimes it takes me a day or two, but I will, I promise. And they mean so much to me. All right. I want to thank you, and we will talk again very soon.